Let's turn now to the FBI. The FBI searches of the home and office of John Bolton. He was an outspoken Trump critic who previously served as the president's national security advisor in the president's first administration. For more on that, let's bring in CBS News investigative reporter Daniel Klaidman. Daniel, what other details do we know at this hour about those searches?
Well, one thing I just learned from a source who's familiar with the search is that John Bolton has now read the warrant,
Hmm.
which was left behind at his home and his office because by Justice Department policy and I think federal rules as well, the FBI has to leave the warrant behind. The warrant just says really three things: where what was being searched, the home or the office, which is obvious, the crimes that are being investigated, and then the specific things that are being searched for. Now, my understanding from a source that's familiar with the warrant was that it was very broad. It did not really reveal all that much about what was being searched for, and although it did talk apparently about some specific crimes. So that is the latest we've learned about the search itself. Typically, a search warrant will not be released by the Justice Department until charges have been filed, if they're going to be filed, although Ambassador Bolton could release the search warrant himself.
Interesting. Help our viewers understand the connection between possibly the searches and a book that Bolton released back in 2020 and sort of the decline in the relationship between President Trump and someone who used to be his national security advisor.
Yeah, let me try to untangle that. First of all, it is my understanding that the search in the end may not have had to do with what was in the book. Uh, Other outlets have reported that there may be intelligence that the CIA collected overseas, which is what's at question here. I have not confirmed that, but what I have learned is that the criminal investigation into intelligence that was in the book was closed. However, a separate investigation was ongoing, was
Hmm.
never closed. It was happening during the Biden administration and then was turned over to the Trump administration when it came into office. So we don't know specifically what intelligence is in question here, but we think it may not relate to the book at all, or if it does, then just tangentially. As far as the relationship between John Bolton and President Trump, it's pretty toxic. John Bolton, left the administration and subsequently wrote a book that was highly critical of this president, essentially calling him incompetent. And Donald Trump has struck back and in fact took away John Bolton's security clearances and his actual security detail after the day after he took office.
A lot to sort out. That's why we have you here, Daniel Klaidman. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
President Trump shared some unkind words about his former national security advisor, John Bolton, in the Oval Office Friday. The president also maintained that he didn't know about any of these searches from the FBI.
But I purposely don't want to really get involved in it. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. I thought he was a sleazebag, actually. And he suffers major Trump derangement syndrome, but so do a lot of people, and they're not being affected by anything we do. I don't know anything about it. I just saw that. I'll find out about it.
All right. So you heard that MTDS, major Trump derangement syndrome. That's a first that I've heard. Olivia Rinaldi is at the White House and joins us now. As you heard from the president there, he said he didn't have anything to do with these FBI searches. But is that normal for a U.S. president to not be made aware of FBI searches of this kind, especially involving a former national security advisor?
Well, Jerika, it's a good question. You know, President Trump, when talking about this situation with John Bolton, actually brought up the time that his own home, Mar-a-Lago, was raided in August 2022, related to several investigations about classified documents and his handling of them. I actually went back and looked about what the Biden administration said about that raid at the time, the Biden White House at the time when that happened said they were not given prior knowledge of this FBI raid that was expected to happen at Mar-a-Lago, and they said they had not been briefed. They learned about it when the American public did, which was when the president put it out on Truth Social, and then it was all over the media after that. So that was from the Biden White House, but there are several differences between the Biden White House and the Trump White House as it comes to the Department of Justice. One, the Biden White House continually said that their Justice Department, which was being run by Merrick Garland, was completely separate and independent of their White House. They say that any investigations that happen are independent, and President Biden was not briefed on them at the time. President Trump today said he expects to get a briefing from the Attorney General Pam Bondi later today as it relates to this investigation on John Bolton. Also, Vice President Vance, in an interview with NBC today, says they were aware that some of the investigation was related to Bolton's handling of classified documents as it relates to a book that he put out, which our reporter Dan Klaidman just laid out there. So there are a few things to point out about those differences. But at the time, the Biden White House said that they were not aware of a raid happening at Mar-a-Lago and were not given advance notice.
All right, more to come, I'm sure. Olivia Rinaldi, thank you.